Good evening, and thank you for joining us as we explore the beauty of Loch Ness. Far from the hustle and bustle of city life, on the shores of Loch Ness, crystal clear and cool water laps up on a thin strip of beach. The ground is covered with stones and pebbles of different sizes and shapes. Some are smooth, some are jagged, some are round, and some are oblong, and their colors run through myriad shades of gray. The air feels blissfully warm on this afternoon in late summertime. The wide open sky above is flecked with fluffy white clouds on a vast sheet of the palest blue. The sunlight plays over the surface of the loch, glittering and silvery. An orange-colored dragonfly darts past, hovering over some reeds before alighting upon them. It flutters its intricately veined wings before taking off again. From time to time, a fish, perhaps a trout or salmon, rises to the surface of the water to catch a fly, causing a series of concentric ripples to appear. The ripples expand wider and wider and wider, before gradually disappearing again, as if they had never been. Nearby, a fisherman dressed in khaki-color waterproof clothing stands quietly at the water's edge. There is a subtle whistling and winding sound, followed by a small splash, as he flicks his rod in a smooth, perfect arc to cast his line into the water. He watches and waits patiently, perfectly focused and ready to strike whenever a fish takes the lure. The sound of horses' hooves clip-clopping along a rough, sandy track signals the arrival of a group of young riders. There are two girls mounted on chestnut-brown horses, and a boy seated on a black pony that has a white mark on its forehead. The horse's muscular flanks gleam richly in the sun, and the children direct them into the shallows. Sparkling droplets of water flick off the horse's legs as they break into a canter. The children's joyous laughter echoes across the water as they join another path somewhere towards the end of the beach and continue their trek. Now a large boat comes into sight as it moves at a leisurely pace across the loch. Its wake causes small waves to splash onto the shore. It is a blue and white catamaran, and many passengers in colorful clothing mill around on its decks. As the boat moves further away, the water becomes still once again. It is glassy, smooth, and peaceful, like a mirror that reflects the endless pure blue of the sky above. In the distance, the ruins of an ancient fortress sit on a headland overlooking the loch. The castle's roughly built stone walls are a dark yellow-brown color. From its walls flutter a Scottish flag with a white diagonal cross on a blue field. It looks as though the castle must have been there for many hundreds of years. Small groups of people are walking along the paths around it, pausing from time to time to look at the view, read an information board, or take photographs of the historic location. From each side of the loch rise gently sloping hills, which give the impression that the water is at the base of a deep bowl. Most of the shoreline is encircled by dense, verdant undergrowth, unbroken except for areas of low, sandy cliffs and the occasional jetty or viewpoint. A narrow roadway, mostly hidden among trees, carves its way around the edges of the loch, but it is quiet with just the occasional vehicle passing by. Slightly higher up are patches of farmland, divided with walls made from stacks of stones. In grassy meadows, flocks of white sheep are grazing. Some bleat softly, the sound carrying on a gentle breeze. One field holds a Highland cow, a large beast with long reddish hair and large curving horns. It slowly lumbers around towards a stack of hay and starts to feed. Dotted throughout the fields are spiky gorse bushes with bright yellow coconut-scented blooms. There are prickly thistle plants too. Some have paintbrush-like flowers of soft purple hue, while others are shedding their seeds. A charm of goldfinches works busily, picking out seeds and shaking them loose. The feathery thistledown is caught in the wind and floats delicately through the air like an unseasonal snowstorm. In other fields, farmers can be seen at work. There are some on foot, carrying tools, and one is accompanied by a pair of bouncing black and white collie dogs. Others are working with tractors, plowing the land to prepare for the winter crops.